I'm excited to be here this evening, like I've always been, and as I said, sound like a scratch record, but I'm even more excited tonight because of who I have with me as my guest. I have with me Bishop Anthony Campbell coming in from the Bahamas, and I can't wait to journey with him. And I'm sure you're gonna have fun just to journey with us. So when I come back, I'm going to be talking to Bishop Anthony Campbell. So stay tuned, my friends. We're going to be having a lot of fun as we journey tonight. ORB Ministry presents Let's Talk with the Doc. Grace Without Borders podcast. A thought for you. Ask Pastor. And a whole lot more. You never know what's next or who will join the conversation. All right, all right. So, welcome again, my friends. Welcome to Bishop Campbell, my brother. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Great to be alive in this season.
In
Great
this
to be
season?
alive.
As you say, great to be alive. I just remember that your favorite saying is that once you get up in the morning and you can take care of yourself, then you have
Overall, I
95%
90.
of the good things happening already.
Yeah, the process is for the day. You wake up out your bed, bathe yourself, dress yourself, put on your clothes, and walk around. 95% of the day has been completed. The other 5% will wake away out throughout the day. What you didn't pay, what you didn't get to do, all that. The important thing is getting out of bed.
All right, all right. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that every time. Just being grateful for seeing another day, right? Just being grateful for seeing another day. So shout out to you, my brother. All right, so I welcome to Let's Talk with the Doc. I'm always excited to talk with you and to talk with my guests. And there is something unique about you that I want to journey with you a little bit. We'll get to those little exciting things as we go along, but tell me a little bit about Anthony Campbell. I like to probe my guests from their beginning of days to find out what things were like when, where were you born, what things were like in your early days. Something tells me that you have a pretty fascinating, exciting life journey. So I can't wait to hear what it has been like.
Well, I was born on the 16th of December, 1956, in New
Okay.
Providence. When I was 14 months old, my mother sent me to be with my grandfather and grandmother. And so I was with them until I became a man and joined the police force. I went to school. Grammy took me to school for the first time. And when I left school, I was with Grammy. My
Wow.
grandfather was a Baptist preacher. So I grew up under the old school,
So
like today.
when you were 18 months, you were sent
14 months. When I was
14 months
14 months, I was sent to Grammy
to
and
Grammy.
Granddaddy. I left when I was, yeah, my grandmother and grandfather on my
Okay,
mother's
okay,
side.
oh, okay, grandparents.
You
Okay,
see,
all right.
let me back up. I was born out of wedlock.
Okay,
My father was already married and had kids when my mother conceived me. So I was born out of wedlock.
Mm-hmm.
But I always tell people, um, I'm so happy, and I don't regret my beginning. Only
What was
one
it?
and
What
one thing I always tell people, go ahead.
No, I was gonna ask you what's the unfortunate thing about that? How what was the system like? What was the expectation? How did they deal with that? What was the impact of that?
Oh no, no, no. In those days, my father was what we call an out island administrator. So he was like the big cheese in the island. So ain't nothing was about that, you know.
Okay, okay,
But one thing I could say, he never neglected that I was his child.
okay. So when you were born out of wedlock, did you have did your mother have or your father have other children before you?
Yeah, he was already married for about, yay, anyway, close 10, 15 years. He was 13 years older than my mother.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
We have a
He
couple
had,
of things in common, but I'll
he had.
leave my story for later on. All right. So okay. So you sent 14 months. You sent to your grandmother. What was it like growing up on another side of town, if I would say, with your grandparents? How did you when you understood that that was your grandparents and then your parents were someplace else? How did you process that as a kid growing up?
Well, it wasn't no problem because I mean, during those days, the community, I always tell people, I like about that. And if I had to do it all over again, I'll do it because we grew up in an environment where everybody was the same. We didn't know we were poor
Hmm.
or poor. I tell people we were so poor we couldn't afford the OR. We just had the PO. We were poor.
Let's say you are you are funny. Okay, I never hear that. I never heard that one before. So I never heard that one before. So you're saying that your family, where you were growing up, were so poor that they didn't have the POOR. They only have the PO. So they're poor.
PO. We were
Just
PO.
poor.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, you're funny. You're funny. My friends, I'm talking to Bishop Anthony Campbell from the Bahamas, and I tell you, this gonna be going somewhere because he's very funny. I never heard that one before. They were so poor, they only had the PO. They couldn't even afford the OOR. You see?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wow. I gotta take a note of that one. I only take a note of that one. I never heard that one before. Yeah, I never heard that one before. All right. Okay. At what point did you realize that your family was poor? A child growing up, at what time you realized you were poor?
When I become a man, left and joined the force, then I realized we were little to the bottom when it comes to others. Because everybody was in the community or was on the same level. So to us, that was the norm,
Mm-hmm.
you see? And everybody helped each other. Saturday morning, Grammy would have cooked and sent stew fish and Johnny cake to a neighbor, and the neighbor sent the same thing back to them what they cooked.
Okay, so it was a community sharing, community cycle kind of
Ah,
thing.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So what about school days? Going to school. What was it like going to
Well, I
school?
went to school. I was in my teens and still going to school barefoot.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Wow.
then I don't know if you all, you hear about patch. I went to school in patch clothes, patch pants.
We know
Sometimes
patch. We know patch
when
too.
the patch wear out, yeah, when the patch wear out, Grammy patched the patch. So you had a double patch on.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. You're killing me. You're
But it was
killing me.
good. It made me the man I am today.
So okay, what? And that was the common thing among young people growing up, or you
Most of us,
were some of those
most
were
of us.
POOR and you were PO. So what was the
Yeah,
difference?
we were PO.
And what's the
We were
difference with
PO,
those
but
what's the difference with those who are POOR versus those who are PO?
well, those who were POOR, they might not have to use patch, a double patch. They might just use one patch and then get another. you know, I tell you, Bishop B, when school closed in June for the summer, Grammy used to tell us, okay, because we never used to wear uniform. You just put on anything. And so you come from school, you wash your clothes, you fold up your clothes and put it up till school open in September. Because you wasn't sure you're going to get something new.
Wow.
And going to school, we used to, as young boys, three of us, Grammy go up, three grand boys together. They used to have goose and to iron, and sometimes if you broke the goose, we used to have to every time you come from school in the evening, you fold your pants properly and put it between the trunk to put a crease in it. And so when at least when you go to school in the morning at the beginning, you'll have some showing little crease. But
Wow.
break time, it back to normal.
Wow. I mean, I've never heard that. We come from a poor background too.
Yeah,
Gone to school barefoot, walking the asphalt, and have to take the side of the asphalt. Sometimes got to twist the foot because it's
yeah.
too hot at the bottom. You got to take the side sometimes. Find some cool spots. Wow. Okay, so at what point did Anthony say, okay, I'm going to pursue something, there's opportunities to life? How did you process the youthful days going to school and said, what do you aspire you want to become even in those poor struggling days?
I my first trade was mechanic, auto mechanic. I started to learn mechanic, and then during that time, as a young teenager, 15, 16, and stuff, and then I started to be hooked with the boys and experiment what marijuana was.
Oh,
So I started to get a little hit and started to plant the little seed.
oh, you actually planned it too?
Yeah, I had some seed layout, but that summer, the Lord allowed it to rain. It rained for days, man. Days. When I went where they were, everything was underwater. It was a lake.
Oh, wow.
I had it in the valley, and when the water subsided, nothing was left. That's when I left the island and joined the force.
So you hide it in the valley. Was that for securing safety, hiding it? What?
Well, in the valley was where like a little fresh pond was, so it would always being watered properly. They were planted by the river,
Mhm.
and I'd expect it leaves to prosper.
And it didn't prosper.
No, it didn't prosper. It
Okay,
fall short.
so in that same year, you're what age that time?
17 and a half.
You were 17 and a half.
Yeah.
And what happened? The Lord called you then? What happened?
No. I joined.
Oh,
I
you
joined
went
the,
to you went to join the force. Okay, so what was the motivation? What was the motivation from wanting to plant weed to going to the force?
well,
What that's a major transition.
after that was the summer, August 74. The school was closed, and they came to the island. The police from the police department. My cousin came up. They say they're looking for young men. Then he gave me the exam on the side of by the neighbor's house. Say go in there, do this exam. Let's see. I go and I pass it. So he said, okay, I'll pick you up day after tomorrow carrying Nassau. So I just Wasn't no like thought out decision to go.
Okay, so it just like boom, an opportunity come and I go.
Yeah. So
So
I
so
left.
that mean you had written tests or just what kind of test was that?
Yeah, they had a test where they give you a simple math, um, English, and then a little history on the country. So it wasn't no big test like that because you were going to do 6 to 8 months training anyhow.
Training
Yeah,
preparation. Okay.
they just wanted to see if you were basically inclined to deal with.
And if you had the physical fitness and the
Oh well,
awareness.
I know I was physically fit because walking and riding bicycle 10 miles and 17 miles or so, that was the norm. It was
Okay.
that's yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. So okay. So you went into the force. At that point, what was your communication with your parents? Did you have communication with your
Oh yeah,
parents?
yeah. Never lose, never lose. My parents, um, we never lost. I always had communication with my father, but not with my siblings. I was 15 or 16. I was in Nassau one visiting for the summer, and I woke up one morning and I decided that, hey, I'm gonna go to the house and see. I wanted to see my sibling.
Mm-hmm.
My mother told me don't go to the house. I
Yeah.
say I go in. I get dressed, walk up to the house, knock on the door, and my stepmother came out. I said, "Is this Mr. Campbell's house?" She said, "Yeah." I say, "Is he here?" She said, "No, he's at work." Say, "Who you may be?" I say, "I'm his son."
Wow.
She she tell me, say, come in, then."
And
Um,
she didn't know you.
no,
Wow.
she tell me, say, come in. Uh, uh, he coming home for lunch at 12. So I see all my sister and them peeping out to try to see who this is. And I went in and she said, and daddy did come home at 12. When daddy come home and he saw me, I know he looked like if the earth could open up and swallow him.
So wow. So he didn't expect you to come by there at
No,
all.
no, no. And then he left. And I said to my stepmom, I say, I'm leaving now. And she tell me, say, no, no, don't leave. Wait till your pa come from work 5 o'clock so he could bring you some money so you could buy your school things to carry back to
Oh.
the island.
Oh.
And so
So you said to
I
carry
wait.
back to the island. Were you on different places
Yeah,
in the island?
my grandfather and grandmother lived in Cat Island. That was like almost 100 miles from Nassau.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Mhm.
You have that distance in terms of driving from a distance?
No, no, you got to come on board a
Oh,
plane,
you gotta take a boat. Okay, okay.
Yeah, board a plane, you know.
So how did you get there?
Where Nassau?
Yeah, how did you get there to go to your father's house?
On a mailboat.
Oh, you get
On
on
the
the okay,
Yeah.
wow.
I came from Cat Island on the mailboat to Nassau.
Wow. That's interesting. All right. So she was looking out for you. So she was happy to get to know you, looking out for you.
And
So
for the last 52 years, from we met that first day to now, nothing has changed.
wow. That is beautiful. That's a woman with a good heart.
Well, I always tell people she's a member of the Church of God of Prophecy. I always tell people is one person going to heaven in prophecies, huh?
I said, please, Lord, don't let it be one. Please let it be more than one because I need a chance. I need a chance to. Oh, that's it. Okay, so when your father came back, how did that go when he came back? Okay, he came at lunch already. He come back after work. You
When
were
he
still.
came back 5 o'clock, he did brought some money so I could have to buy my stuff.
So did he know that? Was that a plan?
I
Maybe
don't
did they
know.
talk
I
it
don't know.
over?
I don't know whether mom tell him to or what, but I
Maybe
know she
maybe
tell.
maybe she talked you to her, because if he came prepared and she told you that, maybe she talked it over with him behind the
Yeah, because
scenes.
she told me, said, don't leave. Wait till your dad come from work at 5 o'clock so he can get some money for you to have to buy stuff from for school.
I think she set it up.
Yeah.
Good for you, man. That, and I'm saying that everybody's story is so uniquely different.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's story is so different, and your story is fascinating too. Just to hear that, oh my goodness, that is crazy. All right, so now you get up, young man, got into the force. How did that go?
Well, that while I was in training, I went to we used to call on Friday night a hangout, a club where they were dance and stuff. And I don't know if you remember this song. Everybody was kung fu fighting.
I know that one. Yes, I
Yeah.
know that one.
I was standing up outside with a cigarette and a beer, and they were playing that song. Everybody was kung fu fighting, and I just there pulling on the cigarette, sipping the beer, and just think I cool. And while I was standing there, I heard my grandmother voice behind me, just like I'm in you talking.
Uh-huh.
Says, boy, that ain't what I teach you. If you want to be something in life, you can't. Bother with that. You can't live like that. That was October 74. I answer, I say, no, ma'am. I look in the back, and she wasn't there.
Wow.
But I heard her voice.
So she was still alive.
Yeah, she was still alive, but she was in I just left for 2 months or 3 months in Cat Island.
Wow.
And so I smoked the cigarette down to the butt and I flip it off. I said, that'll be the last one. I hold the beer up, I drink the suds out and throw away the empty bottle. I say, that's the last one.
Wow.
October coming, gonna make 49 years. I haven't picked up 1 cent.
Wow, that's amazing. I say it seems like we have a couple of little bit that similar stories, kind of close. Because I was 16, 3 days before my 17th birthday when I smoked my last piece of cigarette. I didn't hear my grandmother, but I heard like something just spoke into my spirit and said, "I'm gonna get saved tonight." And I smoked that piece of cigarette on my way to church. And that was July 16, 1972. And that's the last piece I smoked from then until now. So we got a couple of similar stories, pretty close, pretty close, pretty close. Oh my goodness. So okay, so how did you share that with your grandma? I'm sure you maybe at some point you must have shared that with her.
No, I never tell her that.
Never?
No, I never tell her.
You never tell her? Even after you change your life, you didn't feel the
Yeah,
courage to tell. Maybe I would have to tell her
because
that one.
all my life, all they know, I was a good kid. Never
Okay,
smoke or
okay,
drink. So
okay. So you never want to give that impression that, boy,
yeah,
I was, I went rogue for a while.
yeah.
But you know what? After I changed my life and became a good boy, living up to what they expect, I could have said, you would not believe what I did. I'm gonna tell you
Oh
this,
yeah.
but
Well, I mean, since I became saved, my testimony, and as I go, I always talk about that.
okay. So
Yeah,
they get a
yeah,
chance to hear it.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, I talk about that a lot.
All right, I'm talking to Bishop Anthony Campbell, my friends, and you can hit your share button and invite your friends. He's a lot of fun. I can tell you that. You can hear, and I know we're just getting started. And we're gonna get into some of his story, ups and downs, and ministry, etc. So hit your share button and invite somebody to join us, your friends to join us, right? So we can share the fun together. All right. So how did the police thing go? Now the force go, and how did that
The
happen?
force, I put in 6 years, and when I joined the force, I joined with a plan. In 6 years, I'll be a corporal.
Okay.
11 years, I'll be a sergeant. And whatever take place from there, you know, well, excuse me. After 6 years, I didn't make a corporal. In 3 months' time, I was getting married.
So that there was a requirement to meet the
I met all
standard,
the requirements from
and
top to bottom.
what happened?
I just didn't get promoted. But people who I train or who work under me, they got promoted.
Really? So you figure that was maybe a sabotage or something?
No, when I look back at it, over it, I come to the conclusion all was the plan of the Lord for my life.
I was kind
All
of
was
contemplating that too.
destiny in progress. When I look back over it now, at the beginning, I was upset and all this and all that. But because if I'd get promoted, I would have stayed in the force. I left the force on the 20th of August, 1980, without knowing having a place to go to work or nothing like that.
Wow.
By this time now, I was preaching for about 4 years. I left on the 20th of August, 1980, and on the 4th of September, 14 days after I left the force, a pharmaceutical company called me because I did put in an application there and offered me a job.
Hmm.
And I spent almost 21 years there.
Wow.
And my first pay check there was almost that of a sergeant, not a corporal. So I say it was destiny in place.
Wow. So you didn't miss much in terms of
No, I didn't miss nothing.
Didn't miss anything in terms of income.
No,
And then
because when I left the force, I was on 6 weeks vacation when the company called me. So really and truly, I wasn't out of a job.
So you didn't have a gap, right?
No.
In your break time, you get this. All right. So you were a young preaching policeman, and okay. So you left that now. So what happened? You said 3 months after you left the force, you got married.
Yeah, I am. My wife was a young lady in our choir, and we had an old lady used to go to the church. And you know them days, everybody matching you up with everybody. You can marry this one, you can marry that one. And this old lady, Mother Thomas, she pulled me aside. She said, Brother Campbell, I don't mind what people say to you. What the Lord showed me, the same little bright, nice, that's how she explained to me, the little bright, nice in the choir. She's going to be your wife. Just pray to the Lord about it.
The little bright nurse, you say, right?
Yeah.
Little bright nurse in the choir gonna be your wife.
And 2 years after that, we were married. October 25th will make us 43 years married.
Okay, so I'm curious now. Grandma in the senior mother in the church tell you that young girl is gonna be your wife. So pray about it. What went through your mind as a young man, and what kind of prayer were you praying? Because if she says it's gonna be, what kind of prayer were you praying?
Well, I was overjoyed when she told me that. So I just, Lord, let thy will be done. Let your will be done, Lord.
Yeah, I heard somebody in the prayer for a wife. I think it was somebody praying for a husband once and said, Lord, even if it's not your will, please make it your will.
No.
So, so I'm wondering if you had that kind of prayer, Lord,
No. I always wanted, no matter sometimes what people say, I always wanted where he leads, I'll follow.
Okay. All right. So, what were you? I'm just curious about your conduct while you're praying, having an eye on this beautiful young lady in the choir. That this lady. What were your conduct then? What was your communication?
After a while praying, I went in and I told her, I said, I love you and you're gonna be my wife. And she said to me, well, I have plans to go away to school and further my education. I said, that's all right. I ain't matter where you want to go, so you're gonna be my wife.
So you didn't ask her to be. You told her that she was going to be.
It's going to be, not if she would like to be.
All right, all right, and it. Okay, so did she go away? Did she go away for or
And
she considered?
she did go and do a course, but it was like 16 years after we was married.
Okay. 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 So, oh wow. So the marriage plan took precedent or took,
Priority.
okay, took priority, got priority. All right. All right. All right.
Yeah.
All right. All right. And so I know you're married for how many years? You said 40,
43, October 25th. It made
43,
43
43,
years.
43. All right. Keep on coming, man. I keep on coming. Keep on coming. Keep on coming. I'm keeping you at a 2 year distance, so keep on coming.
So,
I'm
I
keeping
ain't
a
never
2 year
get you.
distance. I'm keeping
I,
a 2 year distance from when you got saved and all of that stuff, So, oh my goodness. All right, all right. That is good. That is good. All right. So, where did your life take on ministry?
well, for my God save, I even when I wasn't a minister, I was traveling with evangelists and those doing evangelistic work to different islands. Once I got into the church, I took it serious. And still today, I take it serious. I make the sacrifice and go, and I just take it serious. So for my God save, I was involved. But in '84, our church had introduced this program they call MIP Minister Internship Program. And I joined. I was the first in the Bahamas when they introduced it to do that. In '86, I became an exhorter. In '88, I think '88, '89, I became a licensed minister. And in '94, I become an ordained bishop.
88, 89, man. I'm telling you, man. You're tracking. Well, I was in leadership before, from 78, but I got my first license in the church. I got a prophecy coming back in 89. I got my pastoral appointment on a what do I call it, lay minister's license, but then got my license in 1989. So you're tracking me down too close, man. You're tracking me too
In
close.
'89, I was a licensed minister. I
Yeah,
already get my exhorter. '89, yeah. And in '94, I became an ordained bishop.
in
And in '90,
'94.
yeah.
So that was quick transition.
Well, I mean, I was busy on the field. I spent 10 years as national evangelist for the church. So I was involved in ministry traveling the island.
Okay. So were you
And
were
then,
you were you pastoring when were you pastoring
no,
then?
no, 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 no. My pastoring came in 2001
So they
when
made you bishop before you were pastoring?
yeah, I was a bishop before I was a pastor.
Really?
Yeah, you don't have to be a pastor to become a bishop. You got to do ministry.
Okay, well, I don't know. I don't know if it that side. The Church of God may be a little bit different from the Church of God of Prophecy.
Yeah,
Um,
you got to do ministry. Give an account of the fields. Where
okay.
you been? You got fellas. I always say, I see a lot of people showing up and say, well, I'm apostle, I'm prophetess and all that. And I answered
See
them.
somebody there, Sister Sharon didn't know that either, like myself. And that I'm
Yeah,
surprised. That's breaking news to me. I never know that could happen.
yeah. And the thing about it, you could be appointed to pastoring, and that's good. But and you say you're a prophet or prophetess and all that, but I always ask people to take your jacket off and let me see what's on your back. You see, because real soldiers don't wear badge on the shoulder; they wear scars on the back.
Okay. All right.
So you have to go through some stuff to get to some stuff. And so I said I was ordained in 94. And in 95, I was elected on the National Council for the Church of God,
Wow.
Bahamas and Turks Island. And week before last, they elected me again. From 95 to now, I was serving. Minus 2 years, I was
Wow.
serving.
Wow. Wow. That's news to me. And I don't know who Sister Sharon is. I think she's watching from the Cayman Island, but she's having the same kind of thinking like I am. Our process, a little bit different. As a matter of fact, um, Bishop was one of the hardest things to get in the Church of God of Prophecy. Few people became bishop. You had to become overseer and all of that before you became bishop. Well, back in my days, way back then,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know.
in our church, to be an overseer, you must be a bishop.
Yeah, when I'm talking about like parish overseer, and then they
Oh,
kind of combine
yeah.
parish overseer, they kind of combine those. But it's only a few people who became bishop when I was a young Christian. And we never even aspired bishop, because that's like for the old men. Somebody about that never happened to young men. It's changed now. It's changed
Yeah.
now. That I think they're throwing it around too fast now, too fast and frequent now, because they may be trying to catch up like Jonah, taking getting back on the land and making one day's journey into Nineveh. Now too many people are becoming bishops without portfolio, in my opinion. You
Well,
know,
I mean, you find out what have they done, where have they been, what ministry have they were involved in, and how effective are they in ministry.
mhm.
You know,
That's
you
interesting. So you give me a new understanding tonight, because I would have never thought of that
oh
in
yeah.
terms of process like that could happen before. That is news to me. So thank you for giving me that insight into the process. Into the process. Wow. Okay, so you when you were appointed to your first pastorate, you were already bishop, evangelist bishop.
I already served as evangelist for 10 years. I didn't serve in every ministry in the churches wherever I was, other than the ladies ministry
So say me.
president. And I tell them, if the ladies to cut up and try to play off, then we'll have to take that too.
All you had to do was change your attire, or what?
No, you see, the name is ladies ministry, but when you look at what is done, it's just ministry.
Just ministry. Okay. All right. All right.
You know.
I mean oh my goodness! I'm talking to Bishop Anthony Campbell from the Bahamas right now, and he's a fun. He's a fun man. All right. So okay. All right. Okay. So you've been a bishop now for a number of years. At what point did somebody say were you aspiring to do pastoral work, or were you
when I,
picked out of pastoral work?
if I tell you, when I did my ministerial internship program, they had, and when you finish the program, in the back of the sheet, you had to write what you foresee for the future.
Mm-hmm.
And it almost identical as how I had it planned. It
Mm,
came to pass.
really?
I'll be an exhorter. I'll be a licensed minister. I'll be an ordained minister, and I'll be a pastor.
So
Almost,
you had a draft progression.
yeah. From that, they say write down what you know,
Oh, okay. So that
and
you okay. Get you. I get
and
you.
and how I became pastor. I was introduced to pastoring to a church. They sent me to a church on the night of the fifth split.
On the night of the what?
fifth split.
The fifth split. What is the
They
fifth
were
split?
they were having problem in the church, and that was the fifth time a group left.
Oh, the fifth split of the church. Oh, okay, okay, okay.
And so I was baptized into pastorship into hot water.
Oh my God.
I love it. I never see, and I think the reason why the overseer appointed me because I never back down from challenges. I think I shine best when there is challenge.
Some people do. Some people strive or thrive under pressure. Some people crumble under pressure.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
I don't come.
so what was the cause of those frequent splits? What led to those things?
Selfish attitude, you know,
Was that from leadership or from clique?
leadership, leadership, and
Okay,
clique.
and clique.
You
All right.
know,
Okay. So you went into a hot baptism. Um.
yeah. And I spent almost 19, 20 years there.
Wow. So
When I
how
went
was?
in,
Go
when
ahead.
I went into the community, everybody was tight with the first pastor, so everybody was looking through at me like through double lens.
Hmm.
But the first Sunday to the church,
Skeptic. Wait and see.
the first Sunday to the church, I stood up and I said that I am not here as pastor of this four walls. I am here as pastor of the community. And you know what I did? I got involved with the high school. I was like the vice president to the vice principal to the high school. I went to court with the young boys who got in trouble. I remember the first one I went with, and he was in some problem. When the judge called his name, I stood up on the side to the bar with him. You know, when they call up the prisoners,
Hmm.
and the white magistrate, he said, "Are you the father, sir?" I said, "No, sir, I am the pastor." Say what? I said, "I am the pastor, not the father." So he tell us, say, "Well, y'all sit down, I'll deal with your last." He did all his case. Then he called me and the young man up, and then he said, "Okay, the bail will be $100. We have to do $100 for his bail while we wait." So I said, "I'll pay that." He said, "Yes." I said, "Yes, sir. If you give me a chance." "Oh, Bishop, we could trust you." He signed the document and said, "Well, Bishop will bring the $100." But before I left, he called me in the office and he sat down with me and he said, "Bishop, you think it'd be all right that when these young boys get in problem, instead of they going to jail and all of that, spending time, would it be all right if I send them to be with you for their punishment be like 3 months, 6 months, a year, or what to get to?" I said, "Yes, sir. That's why I'm here." And
Wow.
so when I arrived on the island, I cut out all that those young boys going to boys industrial school and the prison and all that. Their sentence used to be reporting to Bishop Campbell 3 times a week or 4 times a week or 2 times a week for 6 months. And then when it's up, we go to court and I give an account of the stewardship.
Wow. Wow.
And so by doing all of that, I then became the go-to man for everybody, no matter what church you would belong to. Once your child was in problem, they come look for me.
Wow.
I go to court with them,
Wow.
not not the parents. And that established me in the community like the Rock of Gibraltar.
Man, listen, I that is incredible. That is incredible that you would have the drive, the passion, the impetus, or the insight to take on such a challenge and to but that was fascinating how the judge responded to that too, and I mean, that's just beyond me. I can't decipher that. That you become. I'm trying to see. I'm trying to see what I could call you. What I could call you. What kind of man you would have been. I don't know what kind of name to give. How would you title yourself other than preacher, pastor, bishop in the community with that kind of uh, 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 connection with the judicial system, that you be the go-to man that they would send to instead of imprisoned kids to give them a record, and they send them to you for counsel guidance, and then you report. How do you calculate what kind of status was that?
Well, I know all that was the plan of God, because after my first year there, my old company, the pharmaceutical company, called me and they offered me a higher position and more money to come back to do. And at least they called me for about 3 years. They were behind me. But I refused, because I know that my assignment in life, and people always hear me say this on the room, I'm not here to make a living. I'm here to make a difference. If I make the difference, living will come. I know my assignment is to make a difference in the lives of people.
Wow.
So I tell people, I am just one beggar showing another beggar where to find bread. That's my bio.
Okay. Okay. So okay. So I'm sure at least during your pharmaceutical years of working in the pharmacy, I'm sure at least by then you add the other OR to your PO.
Oh yeah. No. Things was great then. And
Okay.
for
Okay.
my join the police force,
Okay. Okay.
I moved from PO to POOR.
All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. And at some point you must have erased those. At some point you must erase the POR and change
Oh
that
yeah,
descriptive
long
word
time.
to
That has
something
changed
else.
long time. When
Okay.
I
All
went to
right.
the pharmaceutical company, I established myself.
Okay. So my friends who are listening, if you didn't know what the PO was and what the PO what the bishop told me, what he told me, that when he was a young boy growing up, his family was so poor that they couldn't even add the POOR. They could only read to PO. That's why the question comes to Oh my God! All right, give me. That's just fascinating, Bishop. Just to hear that story. How many young men you could say passed through the process with you
Oh
for
man,
the time that you have done that?
I don't know, man. The community,
Wow.
community.
Okay, so that's a great scenario. That's a great story. All right, I know. Give me a haha moment with one of those young men, and give me a disappointment with one.
Well, the disappointment with one was I had him trying to help him and had him around church. And while he was there, he went to the office and take down one of my computer and steal the hard drive out of it.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, that was, you know, that was very disappointed.
So maybe
Because
nothing good could come out of that one.
no, that one, all they tried. His pastor and his mother came and talked to me and want to find out what I was gonna do. But I go into court and he need little checking up, but in the end he still end up in jail. He and then there were others who just shine.
What's the best and a haha moment what's the best you could say that you have seen out of your investment into these many young men? What could say that popped in your mind, and you look at this one and say this one has reached the top of them all, and how would you define that?
Man, is so much of them, you know, because I could look back and see from when they were like 14 and 15, and I were able to see them become 23, 24, 25, and not only that, but see them become married and end up marrying some of them, you know, and then see their children and christening their children,
Mm, yeah.
you know. So when you hold a little baby, you become like the say, now let thy servant depart in peace, for mine eyes have seen the glory, man. For when you look back and know who the individual was, and see now you holding the seed of that individual that you turn around from going the wrong way.
Uh-huh. Wow,
Yeah,
that's rewarding. That's
yeah.
rewarding. That is rewarding.
And I if I go back then and sometime while I was there before Dorian and I lost everything, sometime you go in the restaurant, sitting down eating, and one of them will come in and say, Bishop, I got your breakfast.
Wow.
You know,
So
then
so
you know
some of
you
those come back to say thank you, right? With
thank you.
gratitude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is nice. That is really that's a great story. That's something that I if I had an opportunity like that, I would that would be my delight to do that too. To help to make something out of, because the system the system would could normally destroy the lives of those young men.
Well, you know, all of us make mistakes before. I remember one time I preached. I was having a service, and I opened up by saying, anybody in here who doesn't have a pass, let me see your hand.
If you don't have a pass,
Another hand
you couldn't be where you are without a pass, right?
that's my point. And so our biggest problem, and I keep telling the members of our churches this with the young people, we just act like we never was young. You see? Like when our parents born us, we were born sanctified, saved, and full with the Holy Ghost. So, you know, we just act.
Yeah.
And so when you look at our churches right now, a lot of our churches is struggling. They're dealing with young people, or you have old folks and no young people, and then you have the little children, and the gap and all that, because we didn't give the blossom a chance to become a fruit. We plucked the blossom before it became a fruit. And so
Hmm.
if you pluck the blossom, you'll never eat the fruit.
I get you, and I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%. 100%. I agree with you because again, come back to what the Apostle Paul says. If a man be overtaken in a fault, you which are spiritual, restore such a one in the spirit of meekness. And then he didn't stop. He said, considering yourself.
See, we just leave
Considering
that.
yourself. We don't seem to apply that part. Consider yourself, lest you find yourself in the same position. And I have seen that played out so many times
Oh,
in ministry.
many
I've seen
times.
that played out so many times. People who were hard on everybody else end up needing more mercy than anybody else. So and that's to me what Paul's saying. Just consider yourself, because you're not much better. You're not better off than the other person. It's just a matter of mercy while you're still there, and just look at yourself in that position and how you would want to be treated if you were in that position. But I agree with you. I agree with you absolutely. Some of us appear or tend to think that we are so immune from the struggles and the realities of life, and so we can kill the one by the wayside instead of dressing the wound. We see him dying, we just kind of cut the throat and let it just die there, instead of administering some first aid to bring you back on your feet. and we have created a distance
Uh,
between
my
ourselves
old
and the
man
young
used
people.
to my old man used to say, before you kick a fellow or criticize him while he's down, walk a mile in his shoe. And
Yeah,
then you might understand why is it he's where he's at.
that's one of the old Indian adage to walk with me a mile in my moccasin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Bishop Anthony Campbell, I'm talking from the Bahamas. All right, Bishop. Okay, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back to the first church that church had been beaten up and had been it because when especially church when a church has been through something over and over and over, it takes a while. It's like healing from anything takes a while um before they accept that this is really good. I'm looking at an animal who is entangled. You time out and he's entangled, and you come and you release him and he doesn't know that he's released. He stay right there. And the same is true of a church that has been battered, wounded for whatever reason, and it's going to take a time before they now realize that we can survive this. It's like trust in a relationship. Like trust in a relationship. If trust is being lost, it's hard to restore. It take a while to restore it. So how were you able to build confidence in that church, hold it together until they could look beyond their yesterday and now only looking forward?
What I did, um, try to, those who were left, you know, I said this the other day, and it's always been my belief. You don't stress yourself out what you lose on what you lose. And remember, still can use whatever is left.
Yeah.
And so what I did after the first or the second year, I had a special service at the church, had them spread the table and had a fellowship. Those who used to be there and left, invite all them back. And we had a service and we had eat. And the last set what left before the service that Sunday, I had the ladies them went through the week I cooked, had them cook, and we had it in the fellowship hall and invite them to come sit and eat, and we just sit and talk. And some of them said to me, said, Bishop, I made up my mind I was never gonna come back in this church.
Mm-hmm.
But you 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 did something different. And so once we did that, the spell was broken.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That when we had any function or so, they would have come. And some of them did start church and what do. I would have gone. And because I was a justice of the peace, whatever they needed to be done, I would have do it for them. And some who went, one who went and became a pastor, well, he left kind of on the good grounds. And I am a marriage officer. I used to go stand with him so he could do his marriage and sign the document on because he's not a marriage officer and all that. So his church
Mm-hmm.
could go. So that broke the spell.
Mm-hmm.
You see, because the final analysis is none of us have any hell or heaven to put anybody in.
That is so true. That is so true. Sometimes we behave like we do. Sometimes
That's
we
the
behave
problem.
like sometimes we behave like we have the last word. Sometimes we behave like
Yeah.
we are the judicial system or the legislative system, and we control the gavel. That's a good term there. We control the gavel, and once we put the gavel down, that's the end of it all. we tend to
Yeah, but
forget that God has the final control and the final say.
the king has the last move.
Last move.
Yeah, no matter
Wow.
what people say or do, the king has the last move.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Amen. I'm talking to Bishop Anthony Campbell. Great story. Great story. Live from the Bahamas. He's joining me. My friends, it's a good time for you to hit your share button and invite your friends to join us. I'm still going to be probing a couple of things with Bishop Campbell on this conversation. All right, Bishop. Okay, so tell me now. Now, you said you were married. At what point did you have your first child?
My my first child was born before I got saved.
Oh, before. Okay. Oh, that was young. How did I miss that? Did I miss it, or you deliberately not tell me about it?
Well, you didn't ask.
Well,
I
okay,
had a
okay, okay. Because
I
so
had
you
a
see,
daughter.
I did ask you, where did your life go? You didn't tell
Yeah.
me that. So
I I had a daughter, and the wife and I, we have three,
so
two
you were
boys.
that you got saved at 17.
No, 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 I was heading to 20, heading to becoming 20.
Oh, I thought you got saved when you
Yeah.
when you smoked that last piece of cigarette and
No,
drank the
no,
last
no,
beer.
no, no. I said I stopped smoking and stopped drinking.
Oh, you know what?
But
I'm putting that into my position, because my when I smoked my last, I got saved that night.
oh, no, 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 no,
As
no, no.
okay,
I
okay.
I started to change. I started to go into church,
Oh, okay,
and
okay,
yeah.
okay, okay, okay,
But
okay.
I started to. So yeah, um I have four kids, two girls, two boys. The oldest is a girl. I had a girl, a boy, a girl, a boy.
All right, I'm not gonna
But
argue with that.
my wife and I, we grew up all. When after I got married, I took my daughter from her mother. She was like 5, 6. We took her and bring her with us, and I grow them all up.
Okay,
We grow
all
them
right,
all up. Yeah.
all right, all right. Okay, all right, all right. Good for you. Good for you. Good for you. Okay, okay. What's the oldest and youngest now? So one before you're
Well,
married. So one.
my kids are 47. Next month, 47, 42, 37, and 27.
All right, all right.
I had a
Kudos.
gap in. I put a gap. I was trying to put a gap in between for if they go to college or university while one walking out, one going in instead of having two there one time.
Oh, come on. So what you trying to tell me, that you schedule?
Plan, proper
All right. All
proper
right.
preparation prevents poor performance.
All right, all right, all right. Okay, back in Jamaica, when they talk about family planning, they say, okay, that talk about family planning. That's a different story. All right, okay, all right, all right. So okay, where the bishop life went now. How long did you do that thing with those young men? How long did you do that, or do you still do something like that?
I did that as long as that ran for about 10 years. But 10 years,
Okay,
10 years or so. Then the magistrate who and I was dealing with, he was transferred. And then you had uh, 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 a new pharaoh came in town who knew not Joseph.
oh wow, come on, come on. It was not such a big town that if somebody has been doing what you have been doing to change lives the way that you have been changing lives, there is no way that there wouldn't be somebody in town to tell the new pharaoh or the new sheriff about this good preacher somewhere who's been helping to change the lives of these young men. But people
Yeah,
come and
but
they do their own thing.
you got some people who want to prove that I'm in charge.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. We know some of those.
Yeah.
So I want to use a strong hand. You're not coming with the mercy and the stuff like that. You come with a strong hand. Yeah.
And I always tell people, anytime you have to say you in charge, you are not in charge.
I say that time and time again. If you ever tell your husband, your wife that you are the man in the house, you have a problem. If you got to tell your children you are the man in the house, you have a problem. You got a real problem. So that that you need to say that they need to grow up knowing that in terms of and by virtue of your action and attitude and how you conduct yourself. They should know that easily. All right, I'm talking to Bishop Campbell. Okay, so where did your life go? I know everybody have challenges. So you finish that church and you leave that church, and where you go now? What's next on
No,
your
no, no.
agenda?
I didn't leave the
You
church.
didn't leave that.
I
You
mean, I had to leave because during the last storm we had in 2019, destroy everything.
That's just not too long ago.
Huh?
That's not too long ago, 2019.
Yeah, that's when we left there, and I had to move back here because my wife and I and my last boy, we left the parsonage, which was a split level, and the church, and then we went to the hotel to ride out the storm. I left with my clothes on my back, she with hers, and maybe a change.
Really?
And when we returned, I meant 15 feet, about 15 to 20 feet of the floor of the apartment. And the church was completely destroyed.
Wow.
The only thing we could do is get a tractor and clean up the yard.
Wow.
Yeah. So when that took place, 39 years of marriage and 43 years of ministry, everything that I accomplished and had, papers, documents, everything went out to the ocean.
Wow.
Yeah, but I said to the wife, and I said to some of the members, when we look at all what we have lost, and we went to the dump many times, but never to the graveyard, so we are blessed.
That was going to be my next question. You haven't lost anybody.
Yeah, in the storm, I lost one of my members.
Okay.
And my
Wow.
favorite right hand, all the pen, very dependable.
Wow.
My praise and wonder, lead praise and worship singer. But leading up to that, before the storm, I buried my lead guitar, my bass guitar
Come on.
player, and my keyboard player
Oh,
within
please.
18 months or so.
Come on.
Yeah, I tell you, man, I have faced many times. I've faced those stuff, but what kept me going was the Happy Goodman singer song. I haven't regret a mile.
Wow.
I traveled for the Lord.
Wow. Wow. That's tough. That is tough.
Yeah, and then
That's tough.
after that, I lose the church and the apartment.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but I'm still here, man.
So
I'm
you
still
so
here.
so you're in a current almost job lookalike situation, right? Just
Yeah, but
okay, this
I'm
one is dead, the guitar is dead, the bass man is dead, the keyboard is just dead, your right hand person is dead, the building is gone, and I'm only left now. So how did you put it together?
I
How
stayed.
did your wife and your son deal with that? I know that the preacher might be the strong man,
Yeah, man.
kind of thing, being strong for everybody. How did your family deal with that?
They dealt with it. I had to. I stayed on the island after the storm with them for almost 7 days. Because then you had to check on your parishioners before leaving the land to see that things was how they was.
Hmm.
But I was blessed, because where I'm at now, This is our house. We had, before I went to Abaco to pastor, the Lord has blessed us. We were living in this from 1986. So everything was destroyed here, and they had many homes destroyed here. And water came up and went through, but we didn't have no problem here. No, I could have come right here if I want to and sleep the following day in here.
Wow.
So so
So
so
how
so.
did that, so what happened? What happened to the church? Where you guys? What happened to the church? The body of people there. What happened there?
Oh no, the church is alive and well. They are worshiping under a tent. A lady that I train, I recommend to the overseer that she will take over from me, and they are doing wonderful, man. Just Friday gone, they have, from the community where I was, 41 of them was down here. They have a community choir. They called me, say, Bishop, your children is in town. So I went out to where they were. 41 of them was in town for one night to sing, but they
Wow.
wanted to see their father. They wanted to
Wow.
see their
Wow.
father and mom. So me and mom went there and spent the night and watched them sing and enjoy fellowship with them.
That is really nice. That is so nice. That is so nice.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
so nice.
I always go back, if people die also who was close, and I was close when I go to the funeral or they have function, they invite me.
That's so nice.
My
That's
old
so
man,
nice.
the old man teach me that wherever you go, wherever you be, whenever you left, somebody must know that you were there.
I agree. I totally agree. I told
Yeah.
and they shouldn't have a problem inviting you back, and you shouldn't have a problem going back either.
No,
Yeah.
if it's a
Yeah.
problem waiting you back, then you wasn't there. You
Yeah,
passed through
yeah,
there.
you didn't do well. You didn't do well at all. You didn't do well at all.
Yeah.
I pastored, and this is not about me, but all the churches that I've pastored in my life, they everybody would be happy. Anybody would be happy for me to come back now for any
Oh
reason,
yeah.
So yeah,
Anywhere.
that
Anywhere.
you got to leave good footprint behind you. All right, so Bishop, I know I'm not gonna keep you on because I know you've been sniffing and all of that stuff because
Yeah, no,
you
you go ahead,
yeah.
man. I tell where you lead, I follow.
All right. I know sometimes I hear you talk on the Zoom room and your story. What would you say other than this disaster? Give me what would you say is a high moment in ministry, a high moment that can't get from your mind, and maybe a low moment that you still kind of salivating over a low moment. Like, I wish I had done something different. I wish something else was wrong. Did I, my approach was different. What would you say is a high and a low moment?
When I was national evangelist, I went to North Lutra to do a service. While I was there that night, I walked in church, and while I was preaching, the Lord had me to keep on saying, cancel, cancel, cancel. I keep, every time I preach, I saying to somebody, cancel, cancel. And while I preaching, a young lady walk out the audience to the altar and began to cry. And then I see other folk keep looking. And so I said to her, are you married? Then she break down.
Hmm.
And she said, yes, my husband there. Right there, the husband was in there. And that day, they, the following day, she didn't have the plans to go. And they were signing papers for divorce. For divorce. And I said, cancel. And that night, that church turned upside down because everybody in the community knew what's going on. I didn't know.
So that
So
that
they
was
didn't.
that was in your community.
No, that's a different island.
Okay, okay.
So they cancel out and they decide to work it out. And she got pregnant again, and they made me uh, to be one the godfather.
Okay,
They,
all right. They
they,
tie you in.
they,
They tie you in
they tie
forever.
me
Tie
into
you
the
in
family
forever.
forever. Say
Wow,
you are part of this.
wow, wow.
I think my lowest moment would be when I came to Grand Bahama 4 years after I was here, a young man. Um, I am always, like I tell you, was active and always like to be in church. And the church where I am pastoring now, they had a change in pastor, and the new pastor wanted me to be on the church and pastors council. And some of the older members almost blow the desk, say, um, um, they know where my membership is, they know where I this and all of that. And so that night, I wasn't elected on the pastors' council, but the overseer, Bishop Johnson, said to me, in the middle of the service, he said to me, say, Brother Campbell, I don't know. I wasn't even a minister then. I never seen it like this in my 37 years in the church. But he said to me, all I ask you to do is be faithful. If you be faithful to God, your name will call. And my name was called before all of those who questioned me. When I arrived at the bishop's hood, they were still following me.
Wow.
I always tell people, God could pick you out so people could pick on you to push you to where he needs you to be.
That's amazing. And as you say that, it's one of the lines that I put in the flyer, right? That your unique ability to find phrases that fit into situations. So that's my question. My question: where do you come by? How do you develop these phrases or these terminologies, or do you have a program? Do you have a what can I use? Do you have a journal of phrases? Do you know how you get all
I
these?
like I like to read. My father was like that, but I like John Maxwell, John Mason, Miles Monroe, and those. I like to read those books. I lost when the storm came. I had in my church office. I had at home. I had about 49 books of John Maxwell and 45 of Miles Monroe. I
Whoa.
lost all.
Miles Monroe actually
When the
wrote
storm came,
that many books.
Miles had books. I When the storm came, I lose anywhere between 400 to 450 books.
Wow.
And you
Wow.
name it, I had them. I had them.
Wow.
Dr. Samuel Chang, Dale Bonner from Atlanta. He's one of my favorite. I I I just you know and if every time we go to the state, my wife used to be routing me. Say, I caution like women like to shop. So what I usually do when we used to go to the state like that, I'll find a shopping mall where Barnes and Noble is,
And
and and
you
and, and
let her loose. You let her loose, and then you.
they go shopping. No, no, they're just happy. They just be happy when that happen because they know when we go, if you know like that, then I hurry. Let's go, hurry, go. But they know if they see Barnes
Don't
and
have
Noble,
to
they
hurry
got
to
all,
come back.
you know.
Oh
And so
man.
I sometimes you hear me quote things. I may read some stuff and then kind of my own mind put it together how I think it fit where I feel it fit for me.
Somehow you've done a great job, because almost everything that we come up with, every discussion, you have a phrase that fits in there, and that is incredible. That maybe, I don't know if it's a gift. I don't know if it's a gift you have, or if it's an instinct, or if it's fast thinking. I don't know what it is that enables you to come up with all of these phrases that you come up with ever so often.
Well, some is thinking, and then some is growing up with old people. All my life, I was around old folks. When I talk about old folks, they like 70. I 14 and they 78 and stuff like that. 80. My grandfather was 93. Grammy was 79. Growing up around those old people and just listen to them talk about when they won the contract or down in Prime or Gifford or Daytona Beach or on and just listen how they put things together, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you're really good at it. I would give you, give you a kudos on that. You maybe, I mean, I've heard a lot of people, but the phrases that you come up with, are the terms that fit into situations. Sometimes I say, wow, where you come up with that? Where Bishop Camp? Where you come up with that? Where you come up with that? But they're all good too. They're all good. They are really good. They never miss the mark. They never miss the mark. And I should have been taking note of some of those things that I've heard you said time and time again. Which some of them I know phrases like those, but boy, the consistency of how you find them to fit into the situation as it develop, it's amazing. That means you must have a whole arsenal of them lined up somewhere. My goodness. I'm talking to Bishop Anthony Campbell live from the Bahamas with me tonight. Just kind of journeying with him on his story. Everybody has a unique story, and maybe you do have a good unique story too. So maybe we can hear your story one of these days, if you think your story is good enough to share, and exciting enough, inspiring enough, or hey, who knows? All right, Bishop. Um, what that I didn't ask you that you want to share with me? Tell me something that I didn't, something in your life journey, whether it is natural, ministry, youth, adult, father, grandfather, pastor, bishop, marriage officer, counselor, something in your life that you'd like to share with me that I didn't pinpoint.
Well, I don't know, but I mean, when I was in Abaco, I served there as the district overseer for for 8 years, and how that happened, the outgoing district overseer, Bishop Atlas Cooper, he called me in his office and sat down. He looked me in my face and he said, "Son, I've spoken to the overseer that this is my last year, and I have chosen you to replace me. Say, keep it to your chest."
Keep it
So
to
I
your
walk
chest.
out, yeah. And everybody was saying, I wonder who gonna be the new overseer. I wonder who, but I knew he already, he said to me that he had chosen me to replace him. And after I became overseer, one night we were having a special service and he came to the service and I was sitting in the big chair and I moved. I said, "Bishop, come sit." And he pushed me back down in the chair. And he said to me, he said, son, you must increase while I decrease.
Wow.
You don't move. You stay where you are. And then on the night when I had the service of appreciation for his retirement, he called my wife and I to the pulpit with him and his wife. And he looked at me and he said, the same way you have served me, Sister Cooper and I will serve you. I've been around the church for years and I've never seen a man humble himself like that,
Wow.
walk away and say, the same way you serve, now I will serve.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he
Yeah.
retired. He retired
Yeah.
and remained there.
Yeah, he's still yeah, he's old now. He's 90. I think he's 92 now. But he's still, yeah, he didn't know, man. He didn't
So
stay.
he just okay. Take my seat. I'm gonna
But
take the low seat.
he was to a different church from where I was. But he
Okay.
was the district overseer.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
He hand over the island to me.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I become in charge of the island.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then
So
yeah.
it's not a local church. It's just
Oh, yeah.
okay. Okay. So now you are the overseer for the island.
Well, I served there for 8 years. Now where I am at here in Grand Bahama, I am the overseer here for I this is my 5th year as overseer for over here.
So you know are the overseer for Grand Bahamas.
I am the overseer now for Grand Bahama, not Abaco.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the, the locations like that. So
Oh,
I don't know the locations like that.
oh.
So
My
uh,
first overseership was where I was pastoring in Abaco. After the administrative bishop wanted to make a change in Grand Bahama, he called me and said, Campbell, I need to send my best man to Grand Bahama to see if you could turn that district around. So what you think? I said, well, like I always say, I am available wherever, however he sees fit for I to serve. I'm available.
good for you.
I ain't gonna never question if you say the Lord lead you to do. I ain't never question. But at the end,
Go
depends
ahead.
how you wake up, we'll know if you was a false prophet. We'll
Yeah.
know if you was a false prophet.
As you said that, it reminded me of some of the conversation that we have had, on the round table, and
Yeah.
some of the points that you have made, and and I know that you have confronted some things, and you have treated some
Yeah,
things how
yeah,
they
but you
just
have to. You have to. I'm
give
not
me
afraid.
give me a
Listen,
worse scenario that you confronted.
nah, I can't remember because
Just give me one. Just give me
whatever
one of those. Give me
I
one of those. One
say
of
for
those.
instance, I open up in our convention going, I open up the convention Wednesday night. I was a speaker. Our team was for the convention was ready, set, grow. Not go, but grow.
Okay.
I my topic was a subtopic to that, and I spoke on reset, restore, and keep the Pentecostal fire alive. And so in my presentation, I had to kind of like bring some things in order because we had some young fellas running out on the wing, going like, and I wasn't afraid to come. I told them from the pulpit, I say, you can't rock the boat and row the boat at the same time. You you can't hold the ladder and shake it at the same time. Either you can hold the ladder. Man, it was a little bumpy afterwards. Everybody they say, but a lot of people came and said, "Boy, you are not afraid."
You know. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
You are not
Um
afraid, man.
what in your rebuke of your counsel admonition rebuke or whichever one you want to say, what's one of the worst reaction you ever had? Reaction or retaliation or negative response?
I had a lady in the church when I was in Abaco. I gave her an opportunity to preach a Sunday night. And she got up and while she was preaching, she just was running over negative stuff. Ain't no spirit in here, ain't this, ain't that. And I didn't decide, but just she finished, I tell her I see in my office. And I put her on the red carpet. I said, your topic was right, but you was in yourself. You saying ain't no Lord here, but you still here. So why you here if ain't no Lord
Uh, at least you should have your Lord here. At least you should have your Lord here.
And I had to deal with her and she tell me, say, well, I have to say, but the Lord lead me. I say, no, there ain't no Lord. Ain't no Lord lead me
No,
to say
Lord.
that. You
Oh
wanted
my.
to say that. Yeah. And then I
That's
served, when I was in Abaco, I served as president of the Christian Council for 3 years. As the first pastor to serve 3 years. Everybody served 2, I served 3. And we had a special service, and I got up in the service and I said, we appreciate the 2 female pastors that we had. That was Mildred Ferguson from the Church of God of Prophecy and Carla Culmer from the Methodist Church. A lady who was in the audience who self-made pastor. She had something to do in the service. She got up to the pulpit and said, well, Bishop might don't know that, but there are more of us ladies pastor and Sister Ferguson and Pastor Culmer. When she finished talking, I walk right to the mic behind her. I say, like I say, it's only 2 that the council recognize. Everybody was stuck. I said, as the president, I said, there are 2. She come up trying to be telling me, no, it's more. Well, I didn't know about them. I said, the council recognized 2.
wow. Wow.
She, I don't think she ever forgive me for that. She still is humble with that.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You know what I appreciate what I appreciate about you. I've never been in ministry with you, but just by listening to you talk, one of what I appreciate with you is that you're serious. You don't take, you're a no nonsense guy.
Man, man,
You don't take foolishness, but at the same time, you have a good understanding of human frailty and human need for mercy and grace, and that you don't kill somebody who is dying. You try to rescue the perishing, care for the dying. You don't rule with a heavy hard hand that drive people away. That and again, I could look at that as a shepherd versus a hireling.
I read a book. My last daughter gave me a book. She went to Liberty University, and she gave me a little book, The Shepherd's Heart or something.
Yeah, I
But
think
she
I
read
think
her,
I, I think I have one like that, the shepherd's heart, or somewhere like that.
and one thing that book shows, or I gathered, that we have a lot of people say they are shepherd, but you don't smell sheep on them.
There you go. There you go. There you go with all them
No,
phrases. There you go with the phrase.
no, it's if you are a shepherd
You're supposed to smell sheep,
and
are
you
you?
are mingling with the sheep, you're supposed to smell sheep.
That's what you do. Yeah, that's your daily thing. And that's in a vacation. You're a shepherd.
You see? And so if you are mingling with the sheep, you'll know when a lamb is injured.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You see? And for you to bandage up the wound, you got to touch the sheep. And so that means more scent coming on you. So I say that to say this: I can't throw mud off on you without my hands being dirty with mud, because wherever mud goes, whoever hold mud, mud leave a stain. I can't hold you down in mud without mud getting on me. Can't. And so, as a shepherd, if you're gonna deal with the wound on the sheep, I should smell sheep on you. Now we got a lot of people shepherd, but you can't smell sheep. And the
That's what.
reason why you can't smell sheep, because when they show up, you got about 10 or 15 people on the side, back on the side, Bishop is here, Bishop is here. And he's sliding in and goes to the pulpit, and when he finished, they out in the back again, back on it, and you go to your car. No.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can't shepherd like that. You
Jesus didn't do that.
you can't shepherd like that.
No.
Yeah. You can
No.
not. I mean, I can understand if you're a TV pastor, we don't have any contact with people, and you
Yeah.
give them. But if you
But
have
if
a
you go in a
house,
church,
yeah, you
if
get
you
a
go in
church
a
and a
church,
house. You gotta mingle with people. I'm never a fan of somebody coming in through the back door late, just coming in and get them to the platform and preach and go back through the back door to the office, and not mingle. No. That is not relationship. Well,
hmm?
and things like people they don't talk common language. They can say, well, we thank the Lord that we are here today.
Right. Yay!
Oh my
Yay!
God! Oh my God! I appreciate you, man. I appreciate your care for people. I appreciate your ministry, your knowledge, your wisdom. I appreciate how you give opportunity. I'm just listening you from the distance. How you invest in young people, believe in young people, give them a chance to prove them, give them a chance to make mistakes. And I think where we fall short is that, and it's hard because of the old mentality,
Yeah.
that everything is cut dry, hard line dry. And I think it's more like something that is ingrained in our thinking than reality. And as you say that we often don't think of ourselves, of our own frailty and of our own mistakes that we have made. And especially when we were young, we made mistakes, and we grow and we learn by the mistakes we've made. Right, we grow and learn by the mistakes that we have made. But now it seems like we don't have no flexibility, and everything. With everything, some people just think everything, oh, you're compromising, oh, you're compromising, oh, you're compromising, and not trying to help. I remember Jesus asked the question to the woman who was taken in adultery, after he stooped down and wrote whatever he wrote on the ground. We don't know what he wrote. We can only imagine what he wrote. And when he got up, they were all gone, and said, "Woman, we were all then accusers." And she said, "No one, Lord." He said, "Neither do I condemn you." But
Well,
unfortunately, that's
see,
where we are.
the big problem I think we have, church folks have, is number one, we act like only our parents that born people that could lead. And so once I'm in leadership, that's it. Me, God, and I, nobody else. And so you got some people laying off in the casket, and you got to reach over and grab the baton from there, because they carry it to.
Carry right to the casket.
Yeah, I intend to When the Lord called me, you have to come look for me. Look for nothing. Everything will be behind because I won't die empty. And so that means I ain't carrying nothing. I like to see. See, God said to Moses, go tell Pharaoh, let my people go. That's all the Lord tell Moses. All right?
Mm-hmm.
When was Joshua time, he said to Joshua, be strong, be very
Very
courageous.
courageous, yeah.
Don't let this book of the Lord depart from you. Thou wilt be prosperous and of great success. So that should tell you your Joshua supposed to do better than you. So why you holding on to everything now? Why don't you turn loose Joshua so things could be better than when you had it?
I agree. I agree. I totally agree. And
You
and
see?
that comes from investment into mentoring, counseling, give guidance, and wish them the best. I'd love to see the people come behind me do better than I've done,
Man,
because that shows progress to me.
where I was in Abaco, the girl that I trained, who now lead the work, she's doing better than what I did. And I'm proud.
Yeah, you ought to be.
Yeah, man.
You ought to be.
I'm proud. I
You ought
go
to be.
there and I lay off and proud. When there is question, I just tell fellas, I say, well, ask her who feet she sit at. And once I am present, she never forget to recognize that she's standing on my shoulder. So I'm proud of that, man.
That's a good feeling, and I'm proud of that too. I love to see the people who are investing come and shine. And if they have,
Yeah, man.
if I have
Yeah.
a whole white bulb and they come with LED light, let them shine, let them shine, let them shine. And I'm looking, I said, God bless them, God bless them. I'm so
Yeah.
proud of them,
Yeah.
so proud
Yeah.
of them. But it takes patience and investment and encouragement, and value people even in their crisis times.
That's
Um,
the important thing. Value people in their
value
crisis time.
them in the crisis times, and let them know you're genuine, and they know when you're genuine, and they know when you still love and trust them and want them to do good.
Yeah.
And there can be nothing better in ministry than that. People make mistakes. I've said it. Almost everybody that I counsel for marriage or pre-marriage counseling, almost everybody I counsel, one line that I say to them all the time: you don't have to show your spouse how bad they are in order to show how good you are. You don't have to point out all the wrongs just to make yourself look better or look good. Because at the end of the day, that doesn't help anybody. It doesn't build a relationship or anything like that. So you give and take and reciprocate and they balance out, and then you all do good. But God bless you, man. God bless you. God bless you, and God bless your ministry, and may you continue to prosper. And what if you were talking to a young pastor now, looking back at where you're coming from? If somebody listened this broadcast who is just entering into ministry, what would you tell somebody to look for and look around, and don't stumble when you run into it?
The number one thing I said this to some pastors or leaders this week. The number one thing that kept me is I didn't worship crowd and I didn't allow crowd to worship me.
All right, good
And
one.
so and so so whether the crowd was present or absent, it doesn't change who I am. And I tell people I preach to 500 the same way I'll preach to 10.
I agree.
So once you could get there, then people don't stroke you. I have this thing about me. Every morning I wake up, I choose to be happy. Whether my wife and children happy or not, that's their problem. I choose to be happy. And I don't let nobody dictate whether I have a good day or a bad day. I choose to be happy. You
Amen.
know, Dr. Miles Monroe said that the greatest tragedy in life is not death, but it's a life without purpose.
I know that quote. I know my wife, Miles Monroe, one of my favorite guys, speakers, and my wife have a couple of his books too, and she really liked him. It's just unfortunate. Well, I can't say that because
Yeah, no,
God
no.
knows everything.
If you
God
look
knows
at his
everything.
last tape,
Yeah,
he was saying he's empty. And he
yeah.
always say when he empty, he's ready to go.
Wow.
You see? And so know that your life is a life of purpose. You didn't just, like I tell people, I said this in preaching one time. I said, I'm no accident because I was born out of wedlock. I was a survivor from the day my father and mother came together. They say when a man and a woman come together, there's about 6 million sperm cells. Or all of them, I was the only one reached to the egg. The rest die.
There is that.
So,
They were floating around and hitting and missing or not
so,
making contact, right?
so you must look at yourself. If you are here, you are a survivor. Don't look at when you face things, you, oh Lord, how I can survive this. Man, you were surviving. You were surviving from when your mother and your father got together. You became a survivor.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I tell the pastors them, you get there. Do not, two things you could do. And I think I wrote, let me see if I can find this because I think he was going to ask the question. Um, 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 do not deprive some people of hope
Mm.
because it might be all that they have.
Mm.
You know, when you get up in the pulpit, don't deprive people of giving them hope. That might be all that they have.
Wow. I like that.
And never waste an opportunity to tell somebody you love them.
Mm. I love the I love that first statement, especially do not deprive some people of hope.
Of hope. That might be all they have.
That's the and the only reason to see tomorrow or to want to see tomorrow. I said this to my I said it to my brethren or to people I'm talking to. The last thing you want to lose is hope, and that's why people get to taking their lives sometimes because they're hopeless.
Yeah,
There's no
yeah.
reason to keep going. Hope is gone. What am I here for if there's no hope? So even in bad situations, you have to give people hope, a reason, cheer them up, and give them a reason to be optimistic that it is not only darkness ahead. You're gonna read the Psalm. Psalm 30 verse 5. It said, "Weeping may endure for the night, but
Oh, for
joy
night with joy
comes in the
coming.
morning."
Yeah.
And something that I get into that as we come to a conclusion, Bishop. Something that I picked from that, and I put an emphasis the other day, and actually did a little thought on it, is that there are 4 or 5 things to take note of in those 2 verses. Is that weeping? First of all, the Lord's anger is for a moment. The Lord's anger is for a moment. That means it is not for life. But His favor is for life,
Yeah.
right? His favor is for life. And then it says, weeping may
Endure.
endure for the night,
Yeah.
but joy guaranteed to come in the morning. And that's the mentality that we need to have as we minister to people, that people need to know that there is hope. No matter where you are right now in your life, there is still hope.
That's why when to the church I am at now, I changed the vision statement I put up for the church, and I told the members for us is giving hope to the hopeless. That's all we are about. Giving hope to the hopeless. And how we going to do that? We're going to reach them. We're going to love them. We're going to develop them. We're going to train them. And then we'll send them back out to give hope to some hopeless people.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. There
Mm-hmm.
ain't no big fancy this and theater. No, no, no. You find hopeless people and give them hope. That's it.
There's a
And
bright day
that's all.
somewhere.
Yeah, that's all why we're here, man. That's why we're here. That's why we're here.
The Lord bless you,
Give
man.
hope to the hopeless.
Yes, the Lord bless you. The Lord bless you, bless you,
Anytime, man.
bless you and your ministry, man. I wish you the best. I'm glad I got to know you. I haven't met you yet. I'm hoping that I'll meet you. I'm hoping that I'll meet you personally one of these days. But
Yeah, man.
it's I'm hoping. But it's great that I got to know you, and we're building fellowship and ministry, communicating together. As a matter of fact, I didn't say to my friends who don't know that Bishop Campbell is one of the panel members of Truth Matters, and he has so much wisdom and great contribution that I'm so glad that you're part of it, because at any conversation that we delve into, then you have so much to contribute to it, and you are so greatly appreciated. And I hope that we will accomplish a lot more, and I hope that people like you, God will give the communities more people like you, who would see people even in their struggles, and instead of beating them down, you lift them up, wash them off, and tell them hope. Hope is there's still hope. Say you're not the first, and you're not the worst, and you will not be the last. That is hope. That is making
I gonna
somebody
borrow.
feel.
I'm gonna borrow that, man. That's powerful.
All right, all right. Receive it, receive it.
That is powerful, man.
Amen, amen, amen.
You said you are not the first.
You're not the first. You're not the
You
worst, and you're
and you
not
are
the
not the
last.
last. That's powerful, man. That's a testimony.
Receive that, my friend. Receive that. Receive that. I mean, as simple as that. As simple as that. Didn't have to be some theological um, uh, depth of biblical interpretation or some hermeneutics and all of that.
No,
It didn't need that. Just a simple human talk. I'm seeing you in your worst position, and I'm saying to you, listen, I am not. I am not destroying you. I want you to live. You are not the first. People have been where you are before. You're not the worst. People have done more and worse than you have done, and you are not the last. When you get up and get out of here, people are going to fall down back in the same place. So listen, man, pick yourself up.
that's hope, boy. That could give hope to anybody.
That's what hope is. That's what hope
Yeah,
is.
that's
And anybody
to
listening
bring.
to us tonight, listening to us
Yeah,
on this, you may have found yourself in some situation in your own life. You may have disappointed yourself, and you may disappoint God, disappoint those around you, and you feel like you've blown it. This is for you too. You're not the first, you're not the worst, and you're not the last. Somewhere in between, there are others before you, there are others after you, and some people have gone deeper than you are right now. So pick
all the
yourself
time.
up. There is hope.
Yeah.
There is hope. God bless you, my friend. God bless you,
Same to you, my
Bishop.
brother.
Thank
Same
you
to
for
you.
joining
Be
us, my
blessed.
friends. Let me hold on. Let me just play this. Let me just play this little thing, and just to remind them that hey, about we have the truth matters. So hang in there, my friends. All right, the truth matters indeed. And I listened to the roundtable yesterday. I couldn't join, but I tuned in for all of it. Man, I couldn't join, but I listened to all of it. That was so good.
I wanted to, but I was just moving up and down. I told Prophetess Barnett, I listened, but just couldn't kick in, man.
I told her too that I listened. I was doing some work outside, and I couldn't I didn't have my earpiece. I tied my phone around my neck. I just tied my phone around my neck and just stuck it right in my chest. I could just keep on listening. I listened every bit of that. It was so rich and so good. Actually, I asked her to do that presentation next week on Truth Matters, the 12th next week. So I wanted to do the presentation, then we have a discussion after the presentation. So we get another chance to do it. So we'll be able to do the slides right here. So my friends, join us next week. We're gonna talk about next week, Wednesday night, we're gonna talk about the gifts, the spiritual gifts and their operation. Spiritual gifts and their operation. Make sure you join us because you might discover what gift or gifts you have and what's the functionality of those gifts. I can't wait. It was so good. I look forward to seeing you next week, joining me again on another Let's Talk with the Doc. My friends, make sure if you're not following me on Facebook and subscribe to my YouTube channel, I please do that so you can know when we go live and what we are talking about. Bishop Campbell, thank you for joining me. Your story is amazing. This is not the last time that we're gonna talk because I know there's a lot left in you that we're gonna talk about. So as we continue in our fellowship and as fellow laborers, I'm sure we will keep on talking. But you'll be here next week as we continue to talk about gifts and
Yeah,
talents.
I
And
should be. I don't have any plans, so I should be on next week.
make sure you hold your calendar tight for Truth Matters next week. Okay, we missed it the last time. Make sure we can.
Yeah, yeah.
Make sure we get you this time. All right, my friends. Thank you for joining me, Bishop. Thank you for joining me as well. You're gonna stay and I talk to you offline when I close out back, so I can tell you good night. See you, my friends, next week. Don't forget you can still share, and if you join us late, go back and listen to the beginning of the program from whether you're on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter. You'll be able to hear Bishop Campbell's story. You'll be able to hear Bishop Campbell's story. Unique story. Everybody's story is unique. All right. So I'll see you next time. Have a good night. God bless you. Stay strong and stay hopeful. Say that, Bishop. Say that.
Stay strong
Hopeful.
and stay hopeful.
Yeah. Stay hopeful. And then
You, you,
you're not the first, you're not the worst, and you're not the last.
that's the one. That's the one.
See you next week, my friends. Peace and blessings. Well, thank you for checking in on ORB Ministries. I trust that you will share with your friends, subscribe, hit the bell for notification, and stay tuned because you never know what's next or who will join the conversation.